Well, that was a good introduction. What do you think?
Very good. And switching it up a little bit for our
Switching up
agent.
a little,
Yep.
switching it up a little bit.
Yep.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Roxanne Kovari with Pemberley Realty here in San Diego, California, along with my partner Santiago Guerin.
Hello, everyone. Pretty good topic today. Talking about a little bit on negotiations, so you want to tune in for this one.
So we were talking about this one, and we were talking about negotiations, and I was commenting that you are a great negotiator. So tell us why I'm saying that.
Well, I mean, you don't want to lose clients, right? So you always want to be on your client's side. It's tough. Negotiating is tough. You got to be trying to find that middle ground to help everyone out. But yeah, I mean, there's tough situations where you gotta sit back and really think about what you're gonna say. Don't you think?
Absolutely, I
Yeah.
totally agree. And I think when it comes to presentations and getting clients to agree to work with you, building rapport is the very first thing, and NLP is definitely a very good source of helping you build rapport.
Yeah.
NLP standing for neuro linguistic programming,
Yes.
which are basically communication techniques
Yeah.
that you would use to turn the client into your way of thinking, or getting the client to agree to the action plan that you propose to get them to work with you.
Yeah.
And that could be from basically, again, building rapport to establishing trust, and from establishing trust to getting a contract signed, and then not only signing a contract, but also maintaining the relationship throughout
Yeah.
the process,
Mhm.
until you get it to the finish line.
Yeah.
And I think communication is key. Speed of communication is also key, because a lot of the times when you are slow in communication, you can develop mistrust in the minds of the other party, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Also, we were actually talking with one of our agents about this this morning, about the fact that it's so much better to under promise and over deliver rather than over promise and under deliver.
Yeah. Hmm.
So that's again another factor with, if you believe there is something that you can do, then you can promise it. But if it's something that you think may be achievable, but it would be an overreach, then when it comes down to it and you're not able to deliver on that promise, now you've overpromised and underdelivered, and that will lead into mistrust on behalf of the client.
Yeah. And it's not just uh, when negotiating with just the client yourself. I mean, there's plenty of scenarios in real estate that you can come across. Tough negotiations. It could be, you know, once you're already on the contract. The request for repairs, or just negotiating the purchase agreement, right? That could be
Mhm.
another tough negotiation that you have to go back and forth.
Yeah.
The like you mentioned, getting that listing agreement signed, that could be another tough negotiation with just the client, and then for if you're, they're looking to buy, that getting that BRBC signed, right?
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
plenty of moments that the negotiation part and your knowledge and all you have comes in, very very crucial, right?
Yeah. There's so many different facets. Like uh, another thing that becomes important is to be willing and able to eat humble pie.
Yeah.
And by eating humble pie, meaning that um, you may think that your point of view is the right point of view or the absolute point of view, and and all that, but real estate, well, and in sales, I should say, in general,
Yeah.
sales is about bringing people together and creating meeting of the minds.
Yeah.
Very different, for example, from law, because you when you go to attorneys, you're already at a point where you are doing this, and then you're just going to keep pushing, 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 and see whose fist is going to be stronger and who's going to basically prevail in that fight.
Hmm.
In When you're in sales, that is not quite the same. When
Yeah.
you're in sales, you're actually looking for bringing two hands and basically doing this and working together. It's very different from going through a legal, basically,
Yeah.
uh, situation. I don't want to call it a legal battle, because that's precisely the point, that when you start getting to a situation where you're dealing with a battle, when you're dealing with a legal situation, then you're going through a battle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But when you are dealing with a situation that you're in sales, it's it, it's it's almost like to compare salsa dance to uh, uh, a Mike Tyson boxing match.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot different. And I think one way that you could avoid having those turning your just the negotiation from hand holding everyone coming together and having that fight. I think maybe setting expectations from the beginning, right?
Yep,
Like
yep,
when you take the expectations with not just your client, your seller or buyer on what they can expect when it comes to the transaction, but also the buyer's agent or listing agent that you're going to be working with. Like, hey, like up front, you'd be like, hey, this is what is gonna slide or is gonna be okay with my client, or what's gonna, just set that foot forward and right off the bat be like, I want to work together with you. I want this to work out, and let's start with the right foot, right?
right, right, exactly. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So definitely. And I'm really glad that you brought up the point of setting expectations,
Yeah.
because and part of that setting expectations, you want to do a lot of listening,
Yeah.
right? Do a lot of listening, because you need to find out what the other side needs in
Yeah.
order to give them what they need.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
And I think it's so important to set up set up that mindset of creating a win-win situation, because if you're coming in and you're trying to win something and you are trying to get one over on your opponent, then that's not going to work. The situation that A negotiation that always is going to be a successful negotiation is a give and take between both parties, where both parties feel like they won.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, especially when it's such a delicate matter like a real estate transaction. Like it can just fall through in, a snap of a finger, right? It's super
yeah.
easy for a buyer to just back out, or the seller to not want to sign something. It's very so you got to be very precise with what you're doing and know what you're doing.
And also to manage emotions,
Yeah.
because most real estate transactions, residential real estate is basically based on highly emotional
Yeah.
triggers and hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
But even a commercial transaction could have elements of emotions attached to it,
Hmm.
depending on depending on what the purchase is for. Not every commercial transaction is a numbers game,
Yeah.
basically. So you got to manage those emotions, and you got to make sure that you keep both sides engaged, because they're making a purchase based on their emotional
Yeah.
temperature,
Yeah.
right?
100%.
So
Yeah.
um, tactical concessions, when to give and when to hold firm.
Yeah. That's something that's very delicate too, knowing how much, you know, because at the end of the day, you're trying to benefit your client. So finding that middle ground is very, very important, right?
Very, very important. And I think you give when you know that if you don't provide, you lose the deal altogether.
Yeah.
And again, it's a dance, it's a salsa dance,
Yeah.
it's tango steps, right?
Exactly.
So if you feel like you're going to mess up the rhythm of the dance that you're dancing, then you've got to give,
Yeah.
right? And at the same time, you hold firm, because again, if we liken it to that tango dance, right?
Hmm.
If your partner is leaning on you and you don't hold firm, then both of you might fall.
Yeah.
So you've got to give, but you cannot give too far.
Yeah.
For example, in a situation where you might be representing, either a buyer or a seller, and the buyer or seller is being unreasonable and only thinking of their own side, then you've got to be aware of, hey, if you don't consider the consequences for the other side, you can alienate the other side, and if you alienate the other side, then there's not going to be a game of salsa or tango, because the other party is going to walk away,
Yeah.
and then you have nothing.
Yeah, and I think it's all like you talked about the NLP and ways to communicate, knowing how to come up with not just come up, but way to speak to your client or the other agent. Like let's say with your client, they're more of a facts driven person.
Yeah,
Maybe if there's a request for repairs of a certain amount, you show them the inspection report and say, hey, look, there is all this stuff, and it's actually worth this much. So
yeah,
then they might be a little bit more lenient and be like, okay, then it's fine, I'll give the credit. But if you just go up to them like, hey, they're asking this much, they're gonna be like, whoa, 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 what's going on? Someone, on the other hand, it might not be very based off the inspection report. You might be like, if you don't give them this, they're just gonna back out, and they're more emotion based person. It's like, oh, they want to get this fixed for their daughter's room that's gonna be going there or something.
yeah, yeah.
So you gotta kind of find that middle ground, find that way to best communicate what you're going and working with.
Because at the end of the day, like we talk about, the currency of negotiation is trust,
Yeah.
right? And you got to make sure to keep the trust alive, and that may mean that you have to provide concessions, or you be really true to your word, or
Yeah.
set expectations, like you said, under promise and over deliver. All of these are factors that keep making deposit to the bank of trust.
Exactly.
And you've got to be cognizant of making that deposit all the time and every opportunity that you get.
Very true. Very true. And you haven't had any you don't have any example of any tough negotiations that you've had to do in your long career of real estate?
Well,
I know there's a bunch, but one that stands out the most that ended up being successful at the end.
tough negotiations. There was a property that I had out in the East County one time,
Okay.
and things got really really ugly over a septic tank.
Okay.
and um, essentially what happened was the septic tank was, when it was inspected, the septic tank was in very poor shape,
Yeah.
and the buyers wanted the septic tank to be replaced,
Yeah.
and the seller wanted to just basically um, empty it out, and get a just a certification that it was emptied out, and wasn't willing to do anything more than that.
Yeah. Hmm.
And things got really, really ugly.
Yeah.
And finally it got to a point where the buyers were like, either we're going to get a brand new septic tank, or we're going to walk.
Yeah.
And so we came back, and in that case it was actually, can't remember if it was a probate sale or if it was a regular sale, but I do remember that I was dealing with an attorney.
Yeah.
So then basically what we had to do was just basically present a lot of facts.
Yeah.
Present a lot of comps, and so we presented a large number of comps,
Okay.
and then made comparisons over something similar to that, that was a complete fixer, how much it had sold for,
Yeah.
and basically presented a case that, look, in this case, or in the case that I'm talking about, it was a $10,000 repair for the septic tank, and so it was a matter of, let's spend this $10,000 and get this sale done, or because if it falls through, then we're looking at a minimum of $50,000 less to get for the property,
Hmm.
and how many and God knows how many more months we would have to, sit and wait for another buyer to come.
Yeah.
Not to mention the property was in a remote location, and there was a group home very close to the property, and the residents of that group home had figured out that this property was empty.
Yeah.
So the danger of them, breaking into the property and causing damage to the property was also another factor
Yeah.
to consider in carrying costs.
Yeah.
So putting all of those items together and then comparing it to the cost of replacing the septic tank finally convinced the decision maker to make the right decision
Yeah.
and replace what needed to be replaced to close the deal.
Yeah. That's a good example. I mean, yeah, it takes, and I bet it was a long process to get all that
Oh
stuff.
yes, it was. It was.
So yeah,
It
staying
was.
persistent, very important.
The funny thing is that right now we're dealing with prolonged sales cycle. Sometimes the property stays on the market. Average day on the market is over 90 days, and then deals are also a lot more difficult to close because buyers and sellers are both wary and untrusting towards each other. So it just makes for a much more painful sort of a transaction,
Yeah.
and so it really puts things into perspective of real estate. Of course, during COVID was 1, 2, 3, boom, and you opened an escrow, and boom, boom, you closed.
Yeah.
But real estate transactions, depending on the temperature of the people that are involved, could drag on, and then you really need an expert in between to carry you through from point A to point B.
Hmm. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are pretty great points. So
All right. Well, on that note, let's let's bring up
Yeah.
our propaganda. What do you think?
Yeah. Why don't we put our numbers on there so that they can give us a call?
So if you are thinking of reaching out to me, there's my phone number. And if you're thinking of reaching out to Santiago, there's his
There's
phone number. We also appreciate it if you give us a follow on Instagram or on Facebook. And of course, if you have anyone that is thinking of moving in or out of San Diego, we would love to be your go-to partners. And if you are a local San Diego agent and you're thinking of joining a fantastic team, there is the website for our team so that you can see the benefits that we provide. And other than that, if you're watching us on YouTube, please give us thumbs up and subscribe to our
subscribe.
channel.
Yep.
All right. Anything else that we need to bring in before we
I
say
think we,
goodbye?
I think we covered everything. I think, negotiations are very, very important in our job and what we do as real estate agents. So, pretty good tips, and I hope every agent out there is pushing hard to get some.
Crushing it.
Yep, there you go, and are crushing it. So we'll see you guys all next week.
On that note, let me also put a plug for the indie brokers, which we are consist of one. There is all talks of consolidation all over the place within our industry, as within other industries as well. The word of the day is consolidation, but there is value to being independent. There's also a lot of benefits being with independent. So we are super excited about the opportunity that these consolidations bring to our space, and especially bring for our brokerages such as ourselves who are independents. So if you are thinking that you don't want to be a part of the big conglomerate brokerages, then give us a shout out. Let's get together and see if we are the right place for you to grow your business.
Yeah.
And we'll see you later.
Bye, everyone. Have a good week.